Welcome to the Village Board meeting for Monday, August 10th, 2026 at 6 p.m. We're here in the Village Hall Boardroom. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Banoski, would you please give the land acknowledgement?
Sure. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Oneida, Onondaga, and Tuscarora, make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. We'll get ready to open Citizens Forum in just a moment. Before we get started, I'll go over some of the guidelines for public comment. If anyone who has joined us has not signed up and would like to speak, please see Megan over here. She has the list. The public may speak only during the meeting's Citizens Forum and at any other time that a majority of the board allows. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officer. That's me this evening. Speakers must step to the front of the room to the podium. They must limit their remarks to 5 minutes unless a majority of the board allows them additional time. Speakers may not yield any remaining time they have to another speaker. Board members may, with permission of the mayor or the presiding officer, interrupt a speaker during the remarks, but only for the purpose of clarification or information. All remarks must be addressed to the board as a body and not individual board members. Speakers must observe commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. There will be no cheering, intimidating behavior, or clapping. Letters will not be read, but will be added to the meeting minutes, and all written communications shall be submitted to the clerk treasurer at mac@fairportny.gov. Change that on my sheet. And with that, who do we have first on our list, Megan?
Aaron Stuckey, 34 East Ave.
Aaron, please come on up and we'll make sure that the microphone is turned on. Great. Thanks for being here this evening.
You're welcome. Checking on the microphone sounds very familiar for some odd reason. Good evening, Mayor, trustees. I come to you this evening to express my exhaustion and frustration with the ongoing continuous violation of Chapter 330 of the Village Code, also known as the Noise Ordinance. For the first time in 20 years of residence at my property at 34 East Avenue here in the village, I have found myself, as well as my family, unable to enjoy our backyard on Friday and Saturday nights due to the music coming from Liftbridge Lane at B-side. The music from that establishment is reaching my home, which is more than 1,200 feet away from that establishment, and is of sufficient volume to impact my ability to enjoy reposing at my fire pit, as well as in some cases preventing sleep from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning. The establishment in question advertises on their website music on Friday and Saturday nights with bands from 7 to 10 this past Saturday and Friday and Saturday was 7 to 10 or 7:30 to 10:30, and DJs starting after that at 10 p.m. until 2 a.m. when they close. This past weekend, I was paying careful attention and realized that from 7 until 10, I could not hear anything as the bands that they were having were playing inside their establishment. However, when the DJ started, I could suddenly hear that very readily at my home. Over the last couple of weeks, several neighbors have mentioned hearing the music to me, and one couple, my next door neighbor, mentioned actually having been kept awake at it several evenings up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the mornings on Friday or Saturday. And I did note that I have called emergency services for the noise disturbance several times over the past several weeks on the 24th, and then again this past weekend on both Friday and Saturday night. The first call was an interesting one. It was the weekend of June 24th, and I called 911 around 11:30 that evening, giving the establishment time to, close down and get quiet after quiet hours. And the music, I realized, continued until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And why do I know the approximate time? It's because that's when I got up to crank up the ceiling fan in my bedroom to maximum velocity and the window fan in my bedroom to maximum velocity, realizing that the 80 decibels from those two covered the music coming through my bedroom windows. I did that at that hour and looked at the clock because I was trying to get up at about 5:30 in the morning and go to a soccer tournament that morning. It was not a fun day. This past weekend, calling in both Friday and Saturday, I called in at about 11:30 again. And in both cases, you hear the DJ respond. Friday night, I remember at 11:30 or 11:03, 11:05, hearing Smash Mouth by All Star. The music's loud enough that you can easily tell what the songs are from my residence. Saturday night, after chatting with the police officer who responded to my call, he told me he was going to be heading down there, and so my sons and I were sitting on the porch and listening, and we realized we could hear the DJ say, "Hey, the cops," something to the effect of the cops are coming to shut us down. And it seemed that they got louder after that point. I've taken recordings and videos and sound decibel measurements using my phone on our property. This past Saturday, it was quieter at 8 p.m., at 9 p.m., and 9:30 than it was at 11:30. This establishment appears to be ignoring the village code, flaunting a disregard for our own community. And based on this, I would like to implore the village board to take action and look at drastically increasing the penalties, the severity of those penalties for repeated and ongoing violations of the noise ordinance, or to push the magistrate punishing this type of case to utilize the second half of the penalties that are noted in Chapter 330, Section 4. Start using imprisonment to push for continued compliance. Otherwise, at least look at increasing the current fine from the 1990 set value of $250 to at least an inflation-adjusted $641.02, or make it an even $1,000, but something that the establishment will notice. Also, consider increasing the fines for sequential violations to the point where they become financially noteworthy. The ability of a company to continue to take a noise complaint on Friday night and then again on the following Saturday night is frustrating. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much for coming this evening. I'll ask, no. I'm going to ask Village Manager White to pursue anything that we might be able to utilize from your comments to talk with staff about it, and just come back to the board in the future if there's anything that we can change with regard to fines. I don't know if we can. Does the rest of the board appreciate the investigation of that?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have anybody else on the list?
Elizabeth King, 94 Potter Place.
Hi, Liz. Thanks for coming this evening.
Hello. Elizabeth King, 94 Potter Place. Also Liz, for those who know me. So I've been attending the Village Board work sessions over the past few months, specifically because of the sustainability plan discussions that were taking place. I have a few comments. I've noticed a trend throughout the sections that you've gone over. And it's kind of frustrating and a little bit troubling, wherein this body, whether out of ignorance or because the suggestions in the plan were too difficult because of whatever existing framework they had to work within, or because they had to work with other organizations, municipalities, this body tends to cede power and want to cross things out. Cede power, cede authority. Specifically, the one that really stuck out to me was the section on building and development, where the opportunity to exceed state building codes to require more energy efficient new builds and substantial reservations was discussed. And basically you said you should just cross that out because the village doesn't have that power. In fact, New York state law specifically and explicitly gives that power in two places, an executive law and an energy law. Municipalities are allowed and even encouraged to exceed building code in order to create more efficient buildings in their municipalities. And in fact, earlier this year, I met with Commissioner Stuckey of Fairport Municipal Commission. And one of the things that we discussed was that, basically there are two ways to influence individual behavior. It's money or law. And we already have the IEP, which is maxed out constantly, despite the fact that it was, doubled recently. So that leaves law, building code. All right, so having homes that are more energy efficient will help us lower energy consumption, and will also make these buildings more resilient to all the severe temperature events that we keep having, that we will continue to have. They're not going away. But simply making polite suggestions is not going to accomplish anything. We need structural change. We've seen how increased commitment to renewables on the state, national, international level has drastically driven down the cost of those technologies. So mandating energy efficient buildings is going to do the same thing, right? Cost is constantly the refrain, but we can't wait. We have to do it now. And you know me, another concern is what could be interpreted as a continuing inaction to make our streets safer for everyone using them, right? This village is divided by two main arteries going north, south, east, west. They keep pedestrians and those using two-wheeled vehicles from fully participating in civic, leisure, and commercial activities in their own community. So we're constantly at the mercy of outsiders and those just passing through in their cars. There is nothing stopping the village from building protected bike lanes. There is nothing stopping them from employing speed cameras, stoplight cameras, stop sign cameras to ticket violators. There's no written law. There is no case law that prevents you from doing that. So all it looks like is a lack of will from the outside, right? Whether or not this body intends that, that's how it looks to the public. All of these measures would drastically improve lives of residents on multiple metrics. So I'm asking you to take action.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the list? Okay. Then at 6:14, we will close citizens forum, and I want to thank both of the participants who came this evening and spoke for the board. I appreciate it, and so does the rest of the board. That will move us on to the regular agenda. So we will start with unfinished business. Can I have a motion by the village board to approve the minutes of the June 18th, 2026 village board special meeting?
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Wojka. Any questions or comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. And then I need a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of the July 13th, 2026 village board meeting.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Bonaski. Any questions about those meeting minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous as well, which is going to take us to the new business agenda. Item number 1, can I have a motion by the village board to authorize the Miles Avenue residents to close their street for their annual block party on Friday, September 11th, 2026, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Barricades will be provided for a block area of Miles Avenue from 20 miles to 33 miles.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Wojka. Questions, comments?
Love a good block party.
Everything all coordinating and in good contact with those folks? Okay.
Then I will ask, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That'll pass unanimously. Item number 2 is going to be a motion by the village board to appoint Thomas Baris to the Hook and Ladder Company of the Village of Fairport Fire Department.
So moved.
By trustee Wojtka,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. Questions, comments?
Do we know anything about Tom?
I have just what's in the package. Was there, know anything about Tom? I know it was a new ad that we brought to this meeting from the work session meeting. I don't think we had.
See if there's.
I mean, we get applications with a lot of personal information and the resumes that come with the packet, and they're always just a recommendation from the fire chiefs. We just don't provide it because there's so much personal information to put in the packets. If it's something you'd like to look at, it's always available in the clerk's office, but a lot of this comes from the recommendation of the fire department and their officials.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
a lot of the new volunteers are youngsters and young
Yeah.
kids, and it's great to see, the younger kids,
Definitely.
18, 20, 16, wanting to get involved and give back to their community.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think it's great too. Fairport is one of the communities that has a volunteer fire department, so we thank anyone who
Absolutely.
makes the choice to join the fire department and undertake all the training that's required, because there's a lot. Anything else? Okay. Then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, and congratulations and welcome Thomas Baris to the Hook and Ladder Company of the Village of Fairport Fire Department. Welcome aboard. Let's go to item number 3, a motion by the village board to authorize the Fairport Merchants Association to hold its annual Scarecrow Festival, subject to approval by the village manager.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Benoski. Questions or comments? I know there was a sheet that was included. Did you include the same thing that I got in my email? Yeah, which kind of goes over the facts of the event and when everything shuts down. I didn't see anything that was unusual from previous years. I think it's a great family-friendly event and a great opportunity for people to get out and enjoy what's going on. I know the weekend that opens, we'll be hearing more about all the events that happen on that day, but this is just one of many. Anything else? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, and we're really looking forward to another great event in the Village of Fairport this fall. Item number 4 is a motion by the village board to enter into an intermunicipal agreement with Monroe County for the purposes of law enforcement services in the Village of Fairport.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Benoski. Questions? Brian and Megan, is this the ongoing involvement with the sheriff's department?
It
Or
is.
is it something else?
It is. We don't have the draft intermunicipal agreement to date. We requested it, so as soon as they're done drafting it, they'll send it to us for review. But it's going before the legislature sooner than later for approval.
Okay.
It doesn't discontinue anything that's going on. It's just a formality that has to happen.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous, which will take us to item number 5, a motion by the village board to enter into supplemental agreement number 3 to D040761 for the Fairport Main Street Enhancement Project.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
Second.
by trustee Wojtka. Questions or comments for Brian and Megan?
Yeah, when I read through that, could you just explain what what exactly that official paper is?
Yeah, so when we were awarded the TAP grant up to a certain amount, and as we enter into contracts, the contracts get pre-approved by New York State, who the federal funds get passed through, and then they release the amount up to the contracts that they've reviewed. So we've been doing this, our third one. We submitted all the planning documents, they approved them, they released that money through supplemental one. Then we did the construction and inspection, they approved those contracts, released that money. Now this is the final, all the last bits and pieces were submitted to New York State for approval, and they are going to release the funds with the signing of this document.
Thank you.
Yep. And then the next one is similar, the next motion. The resolution is just saying that we understand we have to spend our money first and then get reimbursed later, is basically all that resolution says.
Any further questions about this particular item? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. So that will get us to item number 6, which Megan just mentioned, a resolution by the village board authorizing the implementation and funding in the first instance 100% of the federal aid and state Marchicelli program aid eligible costs of a transportation federal aid project and appropriating funds therefore.
So moved.
By trustee Wojcika,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. So do we need any further explanation about what this is, since that explanation that we had for the previous item? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will make it unanimous. Item number 7 is a motion by the village board to authorize the payment of audited bills.
So moved.
I have reviewed the bills and found things to be in order. I second.
Okay, great.
I reviewed them too. And found the same. What Adam said.
Any idea the composting number?
It's a little low, kids.
Yeah, this month and the one before, 1.7075.
Below 2?
Yeah.
I think we'll have to do some promotion of the composting program.
Yeah.
Make sure
Or
all those
summertime.
new residents.
Or
Yeah,
people are composting at home.
Right. And it's summertime, maybe we're,
there's a lot of people away.
I think it's a common. Yeah, I think there's folks that are away, but there are folks who have been also moving into the village. So
Yep.
it's possible that they don't have a container or are aware of the program. So it might make sense to just
Yeah.
kind of do a quick
promotion.
I think
promotion.
we can do a
and
promotion
push
and updates.
that. Yeah. Might need. I don't know. I don't know how the bucket thing works because that was before I was on the board. But
We had a certain number of buckets, but you don't need a bucket that's branded by the village. It's
Okay.
any container that you have at your house that you
Fair
want
enough.
to become your composting bucket. All right, with that, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous, and that will take us to item number 8, which is a motion by the village board to amend the previously approved amount of $70,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of August to $68,575.11.
So moved.
By trustee Nazarian,
second.
by trustee Banoski. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous. Following up with item number 9, a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of September in an initial estimated amount not to exceed $70,000, subject to audit and amending authorization by the village board at their regularly scheduled September meeting.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Wojcika. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous, which will take us to announcements and committee reports. I have a lot, and then I'll move on down the line and let everybody share. I'll start with the most top-of-mind item, the audit of FMC and the village books began today. They're working in that conference room. And so I've seen them multiple times today already. So audits have begun. That's with BST. We approved that a month or two ago. And we'll get the results of it later. I have an update from the OSED meeting that was from July 20th. OSED is providing half of the grant funding for the Mule House Fairport on the building. It's a mural that's being painted by Lorraine Staunch. And while at the time it was just an idea in July, I saw that it's begun. And Jim Keel was there from Code Enforcement, and the Fairport doesn't involve anything that is outside in the code with regard to signage, so it passed without any problems with the code. There's new owners for the cafe at 1 North Main Street, and if you ask me, I have no idea. All I know is that there's a new owner of the coffee shop that just opened this year, and I don't know what the name is because nobody's publicized the name. Everybody called it the Black Dog because that was a black dog was on the sign, but there's no name for that coffee shop.
I had a chance to talk to the owners. He said they're kind of going through a soft opening right now, so
Okay.
they'll be finalizing that.
That's great.
Is my understanding.
They're going to have a name?
Yes.
Okay. Because they haven't had one for the first half of this year. Pardon?
I kind of like no name at this point, but that's not my purview.
That place with the black dog on the sign.
Yes.
So that was part of that meeting. The former BME building on Lithbridge Lane East is starting their planning board meetings and working with OSED. There's a proposed restaurant on the first floor, rooftop bar on the second floor. I saw that all the plans made it out to Facebook, and housing on the second floor. And I believe there have been lots of comments from the community on Facebook. However, I have read none. But they're moving through the process as they need to for the village, and it came up at the OSED meeting. They were discussing that particular that project. Family Nights, which are a joint program between the Village of Fairport and the Office of Community and Economic Development, began this past week with, was it the Roo Ranch? I think that's what the name of it was. Game night was canceled the first week because of rain, and we have a trustee who has a very close relationship with a albino wallaby joining us here at the board. There's a picture of Adam. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of families there with kids of all ages, and there were some adults who had no kids who wandered in, and a very interesting assortment of animals. There was an armadillo, the wallaby. What was the rabbit? Was that some special kind of...
Yeah, a lion rabbit.
A lion rabbit.
Or like I think it was a lion or lion's mane rabbit.
Had big ears. Had really big ears.
And they apparently they have a mane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a Maine Coon. There were a lot of tortoises, and it was really a fun night. And OSED helped the village pull it off, and also brought a lot of business to local restaurants. If you came to the event with a receipt from a dinner or ice cream or coffee for that evening, you were entered into a drawing, and Greenlight is helping to sponsor each of these. This coming Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. will be, we'll call it episode number 2, which is game night. So we're having another game night with games for people of all ages. And then the following week is reptile night. So there'll be, we can see who the one on the board is who wants to go visit with the snakes and the lizards. And then another game night, and then we finish up on September 2nd with Goat Night. I'll be there for Goat Night.
Me too.
So that was really it was a fun event, and I encourage everyone to go down and bring your family. It's good for kids of all ages, including adult kids. And the last thing from the OSED meeting is front porch grants are still available, and they didn't have any applications from this particular week. On August 5th, Ben Walsh, the new director of the Canal Corporation, was here. We talked about with staff, including our new chief, about working through e-bike legislation. We also talked about asking the Canal Corporation to update their signs along the canal. There are some signs that it's been a very long time that they've been updated. And then we took a walk around with John McCooey from OSED, myself, and our code enforcement officer, Jim Keir. And we took a walking tour. OSED and Jana asked if they would cut down the weeds that are alongside the canal bank, which you could tell they had done because you could see the painting that was being done on the mule house from across the canal. And as we just walked around, we talked about some areas that needed a little bit of cleanup and work that they should be responsible for. And it was a really nice visit, having him walk around, and he promised to be back again soon. There was an FMC meeting, Fairport Electric meeting this morning. There were members of FMC that attended a conference held by Meridian. That's our new software package that handles billing and accounting and has a partner package called Futura, right? Which handles GIS mapping, and they're looking for ways to integrate the mapping between Futura and Meridian. There was lots of investigation of how to maximize our system usage for outage support and reporting, what we have, and if we need to do something to customize it. How to customize reporting to save time. Also, how to enact change in a small utility was another one of the sessions that were attended. And then after that overview of the event, there's a project that Fairport Electric is going to return to that was tried in the early 90s. Blackwatch Trail has had significant outages due to falling trees that are well away from utility lines because there are so many large trees in backyards that we don't have easements to trim. Fairport Electric does not. They're going to start meeting with members of the neighborhood. It's consistently these trees that are coming down because of all the storms, wet weather. Friday it was a sunny day and a tree came down and took down a line, and it took them a while to find it. So they're going to begin the process of meeting with customers this fall in the area to see if they can obtain the easements to take the lines that are above ground there underground, and that project would actually begin in the spring of 2027. So it's a ways away. It does require a lot of involvement with the community to get sign off on the easements. They tried this in the 90s and were unsuccessful. And honestly, I wish that they had been successful because it would have been saving a lot of time and effort over the last 2 years or a year with all of the storms that have been coming through and helping to keep lines up and running instead of knocked down by trees. So that was from the FMC. In case you're all living in a bubble, Realtor.com rated the Fairport 14450 zip code number 4 in the United States for one of the fourth hottest housing situation in the marketplace. It was an article that was in RBJ this morning. And in addition, living in Rochester suburbs rated the village of Fairport as having the best walkable core of any suburb in Monroe County. So that's a really nice thing to hear. There was an interview with Channel 8 and another interview with the Rochester DNC. And I think I'm done. I'll pass it along. Sarah.
I really don't have that much except when I've talked to residents lately, the biggest concern and the top thing that comes up is concern about e-bikes. And I'm so grateful to the police department and Chief Whitaker for tackling that and really getting on it. It's the number one thing that comes up, and I'm sure you all have heard the same thing. And it's obviously a safety issue for the bikers, but also the people on the sidewalks and walking. And so I'm very grateful to be able to report back to people when I talk that there is a lot of effort being made toward that. And yeah, those two stories that you just talked about came out today. So we own the press today. We're winning today. But, yep. That's all I have.
Awesome. I agree. I'm with Sarah on my thanks to Chief Whitaker and his team for taking on this e-bike situation. It is not just a situation here, but just in a lot of communities in Monroe County, if not the entire state and country. The few things I have are not technically Fairport related. They're more Parenton related. Hoochie is coming up this weekend at Center Park West. And
Center
also,
Park everywhere.
Center Park, all of the Center Park is turning into Hoochie. They've been setting up for like almost a week now. The other one in the same thread of bike safety and bike awareness, there is going to be a free bike safety event happening at the skate park from 3:30 to 5 on Tuesday, August 18th. It is being, the initiative was organized by the Parenton Town Board student rep. Her name's Finley Driscoll, in collaboration with our very own former trustee, Emily Mischler, to help promote safe biking habits. So they're gonna learn how to fit a bike helmet. You can receive a bike helmet if your kid needs one while supplies last, and you can learn about safe riding from Old Skull skateboards and RV&E bike and skate. So again, that is coming up on, where'd the date go? August 18th. It's a Tuesday from 3:30 to 5 over at the skate park. You can drop in at any time for your bike safety questions and answers. Our committee meeting is coming up on Thursday, I think. And keep composting, friends.
Yeah, so I guess building on it, since our board meeting will be after, we got Music Fest at the end of the month. So there's going to be a lot of music leading up to
Not
to
past,
the end of the
not
summer.
into the choir.
I was going to say we will. But yeah, make sure folks are out and having fun responsibly with that. Wanted to reinforce, Fun Night was fun. Actually, I had a consistent group of folks coming in and out. People were bringing in food. People were grabbing some ice cream and gelato, and they just had a good time. Especially because the first one, Mother Nature reminded us we do live in Western New York. And then another thing I'd like to add on to the audits, which is something that's we do this on an annual basis. We do this every year. Not every community does this every year. So that was interesting. I learned that today, and I didn't, having been on the board and just knowing that this is the norm, that was surprising to me. So, the fact that our team we do this every year enables us to have budgets that we pretty much nail every year because of the team. And so I just want to, point out that we're doing best practice and Brian and Megan and the team there are setting the standard for the region. So thank you. And thank you also to the audit team. It's a lot of numbers to look through.
But they like it.
Yeah.
Hi. This Saturday, there's going to be the second annual Fiber Festival, and that's going to be held right in our community. It'll be in the Junction parking lot. There's going to be over 75 local artisans and shepherds, dyers, and makers. And this is hosted and originated and spearheaded by Lift Bridge Yarns and supported by the Fairport Foundation, as well as the New York State Fiber Trail. So this Saturday, there'll be the Fiber Fest.
See the Junction lot?
I think they said across from Lift Bridge Lane Yarns. That's where it was last.
No, that's
Junction
361. You got very nervous because
I saw him going for his microphone, like, what?
thinking that you meant Fairport Junction. They're in the Junction 361 private parking lot. There we go.
Coffee shop, we call it the Junction, okay. Also on Saturday afternoon, something kind of very special. Lou Von Shepherd, he's an institution in the Rochester arts community. He has been an educator for 51 years and very much an artist and advocate, community collaborator. And he will be doing an opening, and he will be here in Fairport from 2 to 4 at Stony Point Art Gallery. And then that's the opening of his show, and he will have some of his plein air work for the next month. Next week, we've got Fairport Fire Department Band will be playing, so it's always great. Not only do these volunteers get together just to volunteer for service to the community as firemen, they also have a band, and they get together and they volunteer. So that will be in the Gazebo series this Thursday, I believe. And so impressed with Hoochie coming, very, very excited, but really impressed with the preparations, the safety, the planning, the security, the shuttles, the busing, it's just been top notch. So I'm very excited to have that in our community. And as I said, just so impressed with the planning that they've put into place for that festival. Well,
Okay. One thing I forgot to cover with the police department is many officers attended an e-bike training this past week that Chief had sent out to the board. And I think that's it. I asked Village Manager White if he would have Chief attend the work session in 2 weeks, just to give us an update on what's life like in the Village of Fairport Police Department over the last month and a half, 2 months, month and a half since he's been here, and give us any updates. And I think that's it. Did you have anything else for the board? Okay, then that will take us to item number 11, which is upcoming village board meetings. Village board work session will be held Monday, August 24th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the boardroom. And hopefully we'll have a guest here, which will be Chief Whitaker. The regular village board meeting will be held Monday, September 14th, 2026 at 6 p.m. again here in the village Hall Boardroom at 31 South Main Street, Fairport, New York, and on the second floor in the boardroom. And with that, I'd like to ask the village board for a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
By Trustee Briggs,
Second.
by Trustee Banoski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Then have a good evening. Thank you for everyone who joined us, not only live, but remotely, and for anybody who may be watching this video in the future. We appreciate you coming out tonight and watching online. Thank you.